Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Anusha Soni. The June of 2020 shall be remembered for the bloody confrontation between the Indian and the Chinese forces along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. 20 Indian soldiers laid down their lives while guarding their motherland. The Indian forces gave a befitting reply, retaliating in equal measure and inflicting more damage on the other side. Escalating tensions between the two nations led to creation of friction points along LAC, the line of actual control. Many of these confrontations have a history of dispute dating back to the British times. A series of corps commander level talks has led to de-escalation and creation of buffer zones at many friction points. While in some areas like Depsang and Demchok, there is yet to be some consensus that can be emerged for even initial disengagement process to happen. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during the recent BRICS Summit, raised the issue of tensions along the LAC with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. The Prime Minister reiterated the need for peace and tranquility along the border, and that is a must for normalisation of diplomatic ties between the two nations. The Chinese in their statement have refrained from any specific mention of the LAC. They talk about peace and normalisation, but they don't talk about the border dispute. The opposition parties in India have once again attacked the Modi government over the LAC standoff. Have we made any kind of significant gains through various rounds of talks so far with the Chinese? Is there any substantial basis to the allegations which are made by the opposition parties? We should indeed have political accountability on issues of national security. But does the political mudslinging help the cause of national security? Our focus on Brass Tacks tonight.
लद्दाख एक स्ट्रेटेजिक जगह है, ये सरासर झूठ है। लद्दाख का हर व्यक्ति इस बात को जानता है कि लद्दाख की जमीन चाइना ने हिंदुस्तान से ली है और प्रधानमंत्री जी सच नहीं बोल रहे।
हम चीनी राष्ट्रपति के पीछे पीछे भाग रहे हैं कि हमें बात कर लो, हमसे बात कर लो, मामला सुलझा लो, और वे सुलझा नहीं रहे। तो नुकसान हमारा है, क्योंकि इस वक्त चीन हमारी जमीन पे बैठा हुआ है। चीन से दो टूक बात करनी चाहिए, वरना G20 के अंदर चीन के आगे रेड कारपेट हमें नहीं बिछाना चाहिए।
आखिर क्यों प्रधानमंत्री चाइनीज प्रेसिडेंट के पीछे भाग रहे हैं बातचीत के लिए? आखिर क्यों देश के प्रधानमंत्री देश को अंधेरे में रख रहे हैं कि लद्दाख बॉर्डर पर क्या हो रहा है? नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार हमारी बहादुर फौज पर ये प्रेशर डाल रही है कि कोई सोल्यूशन एक्सेप्ट कर लिया जाए।
राहुल गांधी जी को बार बार चीन की बातों पर इतना प्यार क्यों उमड़ आता है? ये राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन को मिले हुए दान का एहसान है या चीन की कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी के साथ हुए करार का इकरार है कि बार बार वो भारत सरकार से तकरार करने को तैयार है?
Let's take this debate to our guests as well who are joining us on the broadcast. We have Sanju Verma, the national spokesperson of the BJP. We also have Dr. Ajay Kumar, the national spokesperson of the Congress Party. We'll be joined by Akshay Marathe from the Aam Aadmi Party as well. We also have Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, who's a defense expert, joining us on the broadcast. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Let me ask Sanju Verma to open the debate for us. Sanju ji, is the government in a mode of denial when it comes to the issues with LAC? That seems to be the prime argument that the opposition parties have made. Substantiate.
Anusha, first and foremost, nice to be back on your show after quite a bit. Let me come straight to the point without any ifs or buts whatsoever. These are some of the facts that your audience needs to know, and I'll put them out in the public domain, albeit they have been put forth umpteen times. But yet again, for the benefit of Rahul Gandhi, who keeps peddling the same old trope that चीन हमारे घर के अंदर घुसकर हमारी सेना को चीन ने जबरदस्त तरीके से हमारी सेना की पिटाई की. These were the words used by Rahul Gandhi. I wouldn't use them for our brave hearts, no matter what. We are all aware of the 37,244 square kilometers that Nehru handed over to the Chinese on a golden platter in 1962. But that's besides the point. We are also aware of the fact that the Chinese PLA, the Chinese army, destroyed Zorawar Fort in Demjok in 2008 when the Congress was in power. That's besides the point, Anusha. We are not even going to discuss the fact that 250 kilometers worth of territory in Tiapangnak and Chapji Valley were handed over on a golden platter to the Chinese by the Congress regime, which today suddenly seems to have developed a sense of nationalism, which is so unlike them. We are not even going to discuss the fact that India lost, a lot of territory in the Dumchele region between Demjok and Dungati in 2008-9, nor am I going to tell your audience that there were more than 637 incursions when the Congress was in power by the Chinese into Indian territory between 2010 and 2013 alone. What I'm going to tell your audience is simply this. The Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, the Union External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, and for that matter, the tallest leader of the country, the first citizen in terms of being the duly elected leader of the government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on umpteen occasions, from various platforms, they have said, ना कोई आया है, ना हमारे देश का 1 इंच लिया गया है, nor has there been an incursion, nor will we tolerate if indeed there is any attempt to do that. And tell me one thing, there are umpteen articles in the public domain that in 2013, just 1 year before Narendra Modi assumed the hot seat in Delhi, the National Security Advisory Board Chairman, the ex-Foreign Secretary Shyam Saran is on record saying that 640 kilometers worth of land was encroached by the Chinese and taken over under the Congress. But have you ever seen, let me just take 10 seconds. A.K. Antony was asked about the 640 square kilometers on the floor of the parliament. He feigned ignorance. Shyam Saran is on record saying that indeed this happened. But have you ever seen the BJP say that nahi China ne Bharat ke andar ghus ke 640 kilometer की जमीन जब्त की है? No, because we trusted the then dispensation of the day. Why does the Congress not trust the current dispensation of the day is my limited point.
I have formidable speakers from all sides on the broadcast today. Akshay Marathi from the Aam Aadmi Party is also joining us. So I'm going to equitably divide the time between all the speakers. Dr. Ajay Kumar, coming to you, the government is in a denial mode, but there's a statement that was made by the Raksha Mantri on the floor of the House. There's a statement that has come from the Ministry of External Affairs as well that talks about peace and tranquility that must be maintained along the LAC. The Ministry of External Affairs in the press briefing seemed to give a suggestion and impression that India has highlighted the concerns to the Chinese counterpart. Then how is it fair to say that the government is in a denial mode? Dr. Ajay Kumar.
No, the first question is the long spiel by the BJP spokesperson from a party which never took part in freedom struggle. We divided Pakistan into 2 bits and then they come and give certificates on nationalism. Is a shame on all of them, whoever speaks this kind of language. Whether it's the BJP or the Congress or Aam Aadmi Party, I believe every Indian has got the best interest of India in mind, and they're nobody to distribute certificates like some kind of a fraudulent company distributing nationalist certificate. It's a joke. So let's not even discuss. The second issue is they're not insulting the army when they keep making that 30,000 kilometer went there, 40,000 kilometer went there. We are right now discussing the issue is that the challenges, which whether it was the Aksai Chin area and all, is well documented. The various issues are well documented. Whether the Prime Minister makes statements against the Indian army, the Indian nation. See, the Prime Minister, when he was a Chief Minister, went to Bombay during the terrorist attack and started preaching to the nation of what he would have done. So those are. So let's not leave those. So if you want me to go on that, I can start off on all the attacks on the government of India with this on the US nuclear deal. They refused to support the government. The nuclear deal. So the question again is they wanted to make India weak. With the US nuclear deal, they were the communists and the BJP were together. Were they anti-national? So if you go on, so no, let me. So the issue is, what are the facts on the table? The facts on the table is that India has stopped petroling, and the fact of 27 petroleum perks, we have stopped petroling. The fact is that the people of Ladakh are not being able to, the grazers of Ladakh are not able to go into the interior. The fact is that the Superintendent of Police of the Indian Police Service of LAC has said that there are 1,000+ kilometers which have been captured and our people cannot do it. This is from the government, the SP they are saying it. The fourth important point is Pandit Nehru, the original Democrat, we discussed every failure or success of the government on the floor of the parliament. Have you seen any discussions? Believe Mr. Modi, believe Mr. Jaishankar, believe Mr. Rajnath Singh. And what is the truth? Have they told you that you can't go to 26 patrolling points? What is the truth? That out of 65, 26 patrolling points have not gone? There is so much of literature, whether it is different defense experts have written. I read Mr. Kulkarni's article today,
Right.
Which said that we should not question the government when negotiations are going on. But you tell me, where has the government transparently said that they are 60? Has the Chinese built a bridge?
30 seconds, I'm coming.
No, has the Chinese? No. One side, most important, the Chinese have built a bridge, a large bridge across Pangong Tso. Large bridge across Pangong Tso. Have they built it? Yes. Have they built helipads? Yes. 2,000 kilometers? That's what everybody's saying. Now you won't tell the parliament, you won't tell the opposition. Believe Mr. Modi, believe Mr. Rajnath Singh. As if they are descended from Shankaracharya.
May I?
I want to bring in Sanju Verma into the discussion. Back a quick response from you, Sanju Verma, then I bring in other guests. Please go ahead.
Okay. I did not want to make this personal, and I did not want to make it a flippant debate, because this is a very serious issue, Anusha. But since the gauntlet has been thrown by the Congress and the BJP, let me tell first Ajay Kumar. Mr. Kumar, when you give lectures and bhashan on nationalism to the BJP, remember you're the same person who a couple of months back, when Draupadi Murmu had just about taken over the...
One at a time, one at a time. One at a time, one at a time.
Heckle this man.
One at a time, one at a time. Dr. Ajay Kumar, I take your objection, sir. I take your objection.
I did not heckle this man.
I'll come back to you.
I did not heckle this
Dr.
man.
Ajay Kumar.
Debate with this kind of liars.
One second, one at a time. Dr. Ajay Kumar, Dr. Ajay Kumar, please listen to me, sir. Sir, please listen to me. Sir, please listen to me. Sir, please listen to me.
I will refuse to attend a debate with this kind of liars.
Dr. Ajay Kumar,
I will not attend
one second. Can we please mature about this? Can we be please mature about this? Dr. Ajay Kumar, please listen to me. There are many things that can be said in a debate which you may not agree to, which you think are false, which in your learned opinion are factually false. If I don't give you the time to refute those allegations, then you'd be justified in your anger. Let her finish her argument. I'll come back to you, sir. Sanju Verma, please go ahead.
Anusha, I don't need to say much. Thank you for giving me the time. But the moment I started talking about Dr. Ajay Kumar, did you notice how rattled he got? Kitni bokhlahat, kitni uttejana aa gayi inme. I did not heckle this gentleman even once. I will now complete what I have to say.
Yes.
Dr. Ajay Kumar said the BJP has not done this and that and is the last party that should give a lecture on nationalism. Fine. Mr. Ajay Kumar, you should be ashamed of yourself. You said Draupadi Murmu, who is the first citizen of India by virtue of being the president of the country, you said Draupadi Murmu represents the evil philosophy of RSS. This line of yours is out in the public domain. Apologize, otherwise just shut up and don't give me a lecture.
Sanjuji, now let him respond to this, then we come back to the original debate. Otherwise, the entire debate gets derailed. A quick response from you, sir. Yes.
First of all, lies and lies. The whole ANI
Not lies.
No, let him finish. Let him finish. Dr. Ajay Kumar. One at a time. Dr. Ajay Kumar. Sanjuji, let him finish. The debate will get derailed. Dr. Ajay Kumar, a quick response from you, then we get back to the moot topic. Yes.
The whole unedited ANI thing is available in public record. I have put it up on my Twitter handle. Read it. That she's a decent person. One second. Please keep quiet.
No,
please,
not this way. Can I just have Dr. Ajay Kumar? Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. It's on my Twitter handle. It's on the Congress handle. You can see it anyway. That she's a decent person, but she's representing an evil philosophy. Is RSS an evil philosophy? Yes, they are. Is BJP is an evil philosophy? Yes, they are. Second, no, don't preach to me nationalism. I got the police medal for gallantry, one of the youngest guys. So don't preach to me on bravery and service to this country. Tell her, please don't even, go on that line. I
Sir,
served in the Indian Police Service with reasonable distinction, reasonable decency.
Sir,
and I don't want some,
we respect the
some
contribution
private sector
of...
person giving me down on nationalism.
No, sir, we respect the contribution of each individual on this panel. You might be from the Congress or from the BJP, but we're all Indians at the end of the day, and we're discussing something in the larger national interest.
Okay.
I want to go back to the moot question and the moot debate. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni is also with us on the broadcast. Mr. Sanjay Kulkarni, you have expressed certain views in the public domain when it comes to issues of national security. Do you think that there's a demand from the opposition parties that there should be more transparency, accountability in terms of what is happening at the friction points, what is being discussed in the co-commander level talks? And there is, if you talk about the domestic politics, there's obviously a criticism of it, which the Congress party is talking about. To what extent is it possible to put out these negotiations or details in the public domain in your experience?
Thank you, Anusha. At the very outset, I must say, most people in the public domain are unaware of things that really happen on ground. That's the first thing. Secondly, the talks are going on between India and China because there are two friction points, Depsang and Demchok, which require to be resolved, which have occurred before this incidents which have taken place at 2020 and have been in the process of disengagement. Now, entire thing, first and foremost, is the disengagement, followed thereafter the delineation comes, the last part of it, because after the disengagement, you will have what they call it is, the kind of, there will be no, first and foremost, again and again, I would say, is the part of disengagement.
Yes.
But that disengagement itself will take some time. Now, as regards the feeling that we have lost territory, if they are referring to after 2020, I think the patrolling points that are there, the patrolling points are primarily to ensure that the two sides come there and at the point they approach these sides and they fall back.
Yes.
Now at Depsang and Demchok, definitely the Chinese have prevented the patrol to go in there. Not that the area has been lost. The area is under domination, but they are not allowing the patrol, and that is where the talks are going on. That is the first thing.
Okay.
Secondly, the disengagement has taken place at Pangan. So, disengagement has taken place at Gogra. Disengagement has taken place at the Hot Spring, and the things are at Galwan. But yes, disengagement at Demchok and this thing. But to say we have lost territory to China would be incorrect because this is a long drawn process. The delineation of the boundary itself hasn't happened because only after the disengagement takes place that the subsequent actions can come. But if there are no subsequent actions, how the delineation of the boundary?
No, sir. Now, sir, politics of the Congress and the BJP aside for a moment, the fact that the government is not using these words as in we have lost some amount of territory to the Chinese, what is the strategic importance of it? Is it just a political position that they have taken, or there is a strategic importance to this narrative that the government has adopted at this point in time?
See, after, as I was saying, the disengagement comes the de-escalation.
Yes.
After the de-escalation comes the delineation. Now, first and foremost is the disengagement which is taking place. It's an LAC. Now, what we have inherited from the British is not what the Chinese are accepting it. So, even the Macron line of 1914, the Chinese don't accept it.
Absolutely.
Now, what's happening at the Johnson line and the subsequent McCartney line, we find that between the Kunlun Mountains and the Karakoram ranges, there's a gap called where the Aksai Chin exists over there. So there is a lot that has happened since 1950. The Chinese are in occupation of over 37,000 square kilometers of the land. They are creeping in. The salami slicing, they keep doing it. We have to ensure that they don't do any further. But to say every now and then, it will only be jeopardizing the talks that take place, and Chinese would want. Chinese can't be trusted. That is what they are wanting, that within the Indian circle and the Indian political scene, this kind of differences crop up, which lead to more difficulty.
They're smart with their propaganda, and we know about it. I'll first bring in Dr. Ajay Kumar back into the discussion and then go back to the BJP. Dr. Ajay Kumar, as has been pointed out by one of the experts on the panel, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, that the demand for complete transparency is not in the best of the strategic interests of the country. And perhaps a certain line and a narrative has been taken by the government, which is in the larger national interest. We cannot cede to the narrative that we have lost the territory to a quote-unquote enemy nation which has tried to make those incursions, because we are trying to ensure that those buffer zones are maintained, there is de-escalation, disengagement that can happen. So a complete 100% transparency is not possible. Do you accept that view?
So with all respect to General Kulkarni, I was following what's written also. The fact is, the differences, political differences come in when in national and strategic issues, when you start not involving the people of the country, the opposition parties. Where are you getting this information? 26 petroleum points are gone. These are coming from reporters and public leaked information. This is not the government statement. The Chinese are building a bridge on the Pangong Lake. Is not a government statement. The helicopters. The problem is, where are we getting the leaders of the nation, the parliament? Even if you have to take confidence of various political parties, would you think this would happen? The problem is when you start thinking that there is something which is you don't communicate, and you're not saying you can make it public. But all the information is coming, whether it is some reports from ex-retired generals, and Dr. General Kulkarni will agree that I've seen so many reports of various senior army officials who have different perspectives, and we are getting those reports. Now, how do you know what is the report which is true? So you're saying Mr. Modi is Shankaracharya and we should believe whatever he says?
I'll come to you, Sanjay. I'll give you equal time.
One second. Let me complete.
Finish your point, sir.
Or you take the whole opposition. Take the opposition confidence. And whatever you want to say, everybody stands with the nation. But this question is whoever is giving the feedback, and General Kulkarni I don't know what's his perspective on that. That whether it is Mr. A.K. Anthony, who was an ex-defense minister, is he not competent to listen to the information which the government of India has to give it to an ex-defense minister?
All right. Let me take those points to
and those
the BJP
are not available.
No, that's a fair point. Sanjay ji, let's keep the history aside for a moment. There is an argument there which is being made that we should have verified information coming from the government of the day, and there needs to be more confidence-building measures, not just outside the country, but in terms of ensuring that the government keeps all the political parties and the political class on the same page. That has not happened.
Anusha, now you notice I did not heckle the Congress spokesperson. I do not want to threaten by saying I will leave the debate. I'm not so immature, but I need my time without being interrupted.
Please go ahead.
I want to make that very clear.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. I'm glad you spoke about verified information. I want to just turn the tables and ask, does Rahul Gandhi have verified information? Does the Defense Minister of India, Rajnath Singh, not have verified information? Does the Prime Minister of the country, Narendra Modi, not have verified information? Should we not believe the Home Minister, Amit Shah? Should we not believe the External Affairs Minister, S. Jaishankar? It is basically Rahul Gandhi's word against everybody else. But, Anusha, I just want to say this to you. And this is there in public domain. On the floor of the Rajya Sabha, when the then Rajya Sabha member, a Congress leader at that, Mahavir Tyagi, asked Jawaharlal Nehru, why did you donate on a golden platter 38,000 square kilometers of Aksai Chin to the Chinese? He said not a blade of grass grows there. We did not even know that it existed. To which Mahavir Tyagi said, I have a bald head. Does that mean I should abandon my head? But forget that. I want to just tell you one thing. Look at Google, look at Wikipedia, look at any public platform. They will all tell you that the Dhola Sardia bridge, which connects Assam with eastern Ladakh, it started in 2011 under the aegis of the Congress party. But within a year of starting the Dhola Sardia bridge, they abandoned the construction. The Dhola Sardia bridge, which is very crucial to the geopolitical security and strategic interests of India in the eastern parts of Ladakh. The Dhola Sardia bridge was completed by whom? It was completed by Narendra Modi in 2017. And just give me 10 seconds more. I'm sure you're aware, Anusha, you are such a consummate journalist. When did the Darbuk Shire Daulat Beg Oldie, famously known as the DH-DBA road, start? It was started by Atal Bihari Vajpayee sometime in 2000-2001. We all know that the Congress-led UPA under Manmohan Singh / Sonia Gandhi came to power in 2004. You will be appalled, as much as I was, to know that the first thing they did was to disband and discontinue the construction of the Daulat Beg Oldie road, which was completed by the Narendra Modi government 3 years back. I want to ask the Congress, why did you abandon construction of important landmarks which could have improved connectivity in the strategic parts of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. Don't give a bhak to the BJP.
Uninterrupted, 3 minutes to you, Sanju Verma. I have Akshay Marathe also into the discussion. Akshay, unfortunately, due to connectivity issues, you couldn't join us on time. But we have a very lively debate going on here about the LAC issue and the standoff along the LAC and what the government has done, the answers it must give, and other questions raised by the opposition parties, really substantial. A quick view from you. The moot point that has been raised by the Congress party is that we don't have verified information and there is not enough political confidence building measures which have been undertaken by this government, to which the BJP has argued that they have done their bit. Where does the Aam Aadmi Party stand on this?
Anusha, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on this debate. It has been a bit of a struggle to connect, but now that I'm on the show, I want to make just a few quick points. Number one, you see, India has really suffered terribly at the hands of the Chinese. We have suffered several casualties. That is on public record. Nobody can deny it. 20 people lost their lives in the Galwan Valley. And just months before that, we had visuals of the Prime Minister of India and the President of China holding hands in Mahabalipuram. So when the people of India see these visuals and then immediately after that, you see that our Jawans have lost their lives. And there are unconfirmed reports that a large parcel of land as big as 2,000 square meters has already been ceded to the Chinese side. Then the question becomes, why is the Prime Minister of India, who had the time and the resources to hold hands with the Chinese president, not address this issue even once to the people of India? If there are questions even from one person, isn't it our right to hear from the person we have elected to govern this country to talk about the issue? Instead, we have paper tigers like Sanju Verma, who, these BJP spokespersons who will show their bravado.
Anusha, I'll give you the time to respond. If the
Prime Minister had even 1 ounce, 1 iota of the bravado that Sanju Verma has, we would have been happy that, okay, at least the Prime Minister has the courage to speak about this issue. But instead, the Prime Minister keeps a very stoic silence. He goes to these summits, has the backdoor meetings with the Chinese side, but the people of India are kept in the dark about it. How are we to accept that as citizens of India, that our Prime Minister has not even spoken one word so far?
All right. I have very limited time on the show, but Sanju Verma, 60 seconds to you. Please go ahead, make your closing comments.
Thank you. It's always good to debate with Akshay Marathe, though we are always on the opposite sides of the spectrum. While he may have paid me a left-handed compliment about my bravado or otherwise, I just want to say one thing. We don't need lessons in how to handle the Chinese from Arvind Kejriwal, who at the height of the COVID second wave in 2020-21, with folded hands, told Amit Shah, mujhse na ho paega. We don't need lessons from Arvind Kejriwal, who just a few months back, when Delhi was flooded and turned into Venice for all the wrong reasons, said, mujhse na ho paega. We don't need lessons in probity and propriety from Arvind Kejriwal, jiske naak ke tale his senior officer, a deputy director in the WCD department, kept raping a minor for 3 years, and Arvind Kejriwal said, mujhse na ho paega, mujhe to kuch pata hi nahi tha. So Akshay Marathe, take your lessons in probity and propriety to Arvind Kejriwal before you give a lecture to the BJP. And the reason for the fact that you are being completely dismissed by the electorate is the fact that you have 1 seat in the Lok Sabha. A royal 1 seat.
I'm very sorry. That's all the time. That's all the time that I have. That's all the time that I have. Thank you. All of you have been formidable speakers here, pointing out to certain issues. Sanju Verma will stay with us on the broadcast for the second debate as well. But the issues along the line of factual control are about our national security. We must have a healthy political debate in this country, and that's what the attempt was. Here's another